YouTube? This is Roy,
And this is Joey.
and we're from Third Duelist, and we're going to be doing our top 10 traps of the October 2014 format.
I'm going to start off this time, and I'm going to go with number 10 being Wiretap and Trap Stun. And I feel like, in my personal opinion, Wiretap's better, but it's totally player preference to me. I personally prefer Wiretap because it's counter trap, but I can understand why people would play Trap Stun instead because you can just turn off traps for the turn and then just proceed to go off. It's both of them are really good just to negate your opponent's traps. You want your plays to go through. It's pretty simple.
Number 10, I have Breakthrough Skill and Finish Chain. Breakthrough is far better, but there are certain decks where you want to play the Finish. But either way, you want that effect negation. It's really key. Pretty much everything is an effect monster, so you want to shut it off to get your stuff to go through. So you need that effect negation.
My number 9 is Macrocosmos. It's a game-changing card, and if you can play it, you have to play it. But it's 9 on my list because you can't play it in a whole lot of things. And Macrocosmos just shutting off the graveyard kills so many decks in the current meta. Macro is just a really powerful card, and if you can play it, I feel like you have to. And something really funny about Macro is it can be warning, because it's technically Special Summons is that stupid card that no one knows what it is. So
At number 9, I have Debunk. Again, it kind of stops graveyard effects. It also can stop a Veiler if anyone still runs that. It's just a really good card. It's kind of gone down a little bit this format, but if you can play it, if you have the room for it, by all means play it. It's a really good card. So Debunk's at number 9 for me.
my number 8 is Breakthrough Skill, and I guess I'd throw in Fiendish Chain at 8.5 or whatever, because Breakthrough is a far superior card, especially with Winda being a thing. Breakthrough, I feel like Breakthrough's better simply because Winda's a card, and it turns off the window, which is amazing. You have to be able to do that if you're playing certain decks and you want to be able to play. But like Roy said, just generic negation is needed because effect monsters are a thing, and Breakthrough being able to use twice, I feel like makes it the best effect negation right now.
At number 8, I have the Solemn cards, being the Solemn Warning, Solemn Scolding. Really good, just counter traps, kind of hard to stop them, besides Wiretap and 7 Tools and Dark Pride and stuff like that. But paying life points doesn't really matter, so these are really good cards to stop summons, stopping effect or monster effects or spells and traps that would summon, and pretty good cards overall. But because you do have to pay life points, I have them lower because if you don't have enough, these are just dead draws and they're terrible. But they still weren't right on the list, so at number 8, I have the Solemn cards.
My number 7 is Deep Prison. Deep Prison's really the only battle trap I'd play right now. I don't think Mirror Force is that good right now, but Deep Prison I feel like is the best battle trap by far because you don't want to kill anything in this meta. Banishing is great, bouncing is great, but Deep Prison banishes, which is fantastic, and it's really simple. It's just a 1-for-1. You get rid of the problem when they attack. It is kind of slow. It is a battle trap, which kind of sucks, but I still feel like it's the best battle trap, and it's really powerful.
At number 7, I have the chainable traps like Regeki Break and Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. Because if these are MST'd, you can chain them, you can do whatever you need to with them. They're pretty versatile. You can use them pretty much whenever you want. And if you're playing them in Burning Abyss, they get you a huge advantage. So I have them at number 7. I don't want to include the battle traps because they're only good during the battle phase, and they usually are MSD'd before going into battle phase. But Deep Prison is still the far superior one. But at number 7, I have the chainable traps.
Alright, my number 6 is Torrential Tribute. Torrential, I feel, is the worst of the 4 main staples, I guess you'd call them, to me, because it destroys. And while it blows up everything, it destroys, which sucks because everything floats, or they can just make another one next turn, which makes Torrential not as good, but I still feel like it's a really powerful card, and if used right, it can be devastating before they get certain cards out, and you just blow up the field when the time is right. And if you use it right, I still feel like it's one of the best traps in the game, but it's not as good as it once was, in my opinion.
At number 6, I have Trap Stun, Wiretap, Royal Decree. Trap negation is really key. You got Satellar Knights playing 20 plus traps, and you also have the chainable traps, which can be real annoying. You got Emptiness, Skill Drain, so you need to be able to shut those off. That's why I prefer Trap Stun, but there are cards like Warning and Scolding and Alpha that you need that Wiretap for. And Royal Decree is pretty good in certain decks. It's not the best in my opinion, but I still include it on this list. But Trap Negation is really key in this format, so that's why I have those at number 6.
Alright. My number 5, I'm going to continue with the staples. I have Bottomless Trap Hole. Bottomless, it banishes, which is good, but it's a 1-for-1. Kind of like Deep Prison. It is a summon response, which is faster, and that's why I like it more. But Bottomless, it doesn't stop things like Dante, which kind of blows, and it's a really powerful card, but I feel like there's better options as best traps.
At number 5, I have Mischief of the Yokai and Stygian Dirge. These are really annoying cards if you like to exceed or synchro a lot. If you don't know what these do, they basically just reduce the levels of your opponent's monsters, and it's real annoying. Satellar Knights are exceeding, Yang Zings are synchro, Burning Abyss do both, Shadows can synchro, so if you play these right, it gets real annoying for your opponent, and I feel like these are really key. You don't necessarily need to main them, but at least have one or two of each in the side, or not of each, but one or two of them in the side, and you should be good to go. And that's why I have that number 5 for me.
Number 4, I'm going to continue to be boring and talk about staples. I have Compulse. Compulse is a really powerful card. Just bouncing cards is great, especially extra deck cards. You don't want stuff in engrave and floating, so Compulse is really great. Just an open game state, especially, it's never dead. They can't win if they don't have monsters, so Compulse is my number 4.
My number 4 is Macrocosmos. I have this higher up on the list because it does break games. Like, it's a really, really good card. Not all decks can play it, sure, but if you can, you need to, and if you do, you're going to do a really good job. Like, if Macrocosmos is out, Burning Abyss is not going to do as well. The only thing it doesn't really hurt is Cliffforts, but, nothing really hurts them. So, it's still a really good card, so I have them at number 4.
My number 3 is Warning. I feel like Warning's the best of the one of, like, main 4. Warning just negates. It's a counter trap. It's pretty simple. Life points don't matter unless they're 0, and while it does suck to top deck it when you can't pay for it, it's a warning. It stops whatever they're gonna try and do, and it's just really powerful. So I feel like Warning's really good.
My number 3, I have Skill Drain. This card is so annoying. Yang Zings can main it, Cliffforts can main it. It's really annoying. It shuts down your opponent's deck for a little while. They have to go through some resources to get rid of it, which can grant you some bonuses and stalls them a little bit. And if you can still plus with this on the field, you're going to do well. Like, this card is so annoying. Just shut off all effects. It's just real annoying. So, Skill Drain is number 3 for me.
Alright, my number 2 is Skill Drain. And Skill Drain is just a really stupid card. Honestly, it should be at 1, even though I don't want it to go there because I play Yang Zings. But just the fact that the decks that can main it are not hindered by it at all, and your opponent has to waste resources to get rid of it while you just generate advantage. Like Yang Zings, you'll just make the Synchro unaffected by traps and generate a bunch of advantage off creation, things like that. And Cliffforts, they can just sit behind that and just poke for 21 every turn because they can. So skill drain's really powerful.
At number 2, I have Vanity's Emptiness. It's just like Skill Drain. If you can sit on it, then you're going to do really well. Clifford's can main 3 of each, and that's real annoying. Uh, and if you can run Trap Stunt, you can just shut it off on your turn, and you can special summon some more, and your opponent can't activate your traps while you're doing your stuff, so it's real annoying. And Emptiness is just broken. It needs to go to 1, and that's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, my number 1 is Vanity's Emptiness, and if Emptiness doesn't go to 1 on the next list, I'm going to be disappointed and surprised. But Emptiness, just the floodgates, this and Skill Drain, they're a problem. I don't like either of them. Emptiness is just, the thing about Emptiness is you can abuse it to where you can control when it stays and when it goes, and just when you're done with it, you can get rid of it. Oh, now I can play, and then flip it on your opponent's turn, and it's like, oh, you can't play. And that's one of the main problems I have with Emptiness. I don't think it's a fair card, and if it needs to get limited.
At number 1, I have the staple traps, Bottomless, Torrential, Compulse, etc. I have these at the top because they're staple. You can put them in every deck if you have the room for them. You can't really put Emptiness or Skill Drain in every deck. While individually those are better effects, I would say, I feel like the staple traps are better because you can put them in everything. So that's my only reason for having them at number 1. And that's why I'm grouped together too. You can include the warning on this obviously because it is a staple trap, but I had it with the warning or the solemn cards. So, but staple traps number 1 for me. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe.